How's it? I'm Honan,
Hi, I'm Kay.
and today we're checking out K-pop legends, Big Bang. And I know our resident VIP here has been waiting a long time for a comeback to happen. I'm so interested in what this is going to sound like because I think Bang 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 and Fantastic Baby, and even though I think that party style, I have also heard like more somber, cooler music from them that is like not just party style like that as well. But I don't know if you've heard at all like what the style of this is supposed to be or anything like that. Do you happen to know?
From what I've been hearing, it's been very emotional. So my best guess is they're probably doing something more like Blue or Last Dance kind of sounding, more
Hmm.
ballady, if anything, which will be very interesting to see.
It's
I
been
mean, I'm
yeah.
looking
Sorry,
I'm
go
looking
ahead.
forward to it. So
It's been so long since I've heard like G Dragon and Taeyang's voice like melding together because they Big Bang is like one of those really unique sounding K-pop groups where each voice is so distinctly different in the group, and like I mean you can tell G Dragon and Taeyang so quickly when you hear them sing, or especially rap from G Dragon is very distinct as well. I'm gonna laugh if people said like not that it's funny, but like people said like it made them cry, and then it's like a super party style song or something, just because Big Bang's back, just like they're back and it's like bang 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 style.
well, it's funny because literally, I think it was the day before they announced that they were actually having a comeback. I was at my one of my best friends and former college roommate's place. We were hanging out and we were playing music, and she pulled up a Big Bang song, and we both started getting very emotional. How it's been like 5 years since they've had a
Hmm.
comeback, and lo and behold, next day it's like, hey guys, having a comeback, and I'm like, finally, the
So
timing, we
willed it
manifested
into
it.
existence. All right, well let's. I know you've been patient to check this out, and we'll just jump into it because I'm stoked to see what style this is gonna be.
이듬해질녘 꽃 피는 봄 한여름밤의 꿈 가을타 겨울 내리는 1년 4번 또다시 봄 정들었던 내 젊은 날 이제는 안녕 아름답던
They've all got long hair
우리의
now.
봄
I
여름
am loving this
가을
with long hair.
비간 뒤에 비어야 대신해야 비엔 비스듬씩 비웃듯이 생문의 무지개 철없이 철지나 철들지 못해 철부지에 철그러지 오래 멋지 비발디 차이콥스키 오늘의 세계로 맞이해 마침내 마침내 시몬네
저 하늘만 바라보고서 사기절 잘 지내고 있어 Goodbye. 떠난 사람 또 나타난 사람 머리 위전 세상 난또 내 영감의 아마존 지난 밤에 트라우마 담고 목숨 바쳐 달려오 새 출발하는 원목선 변할래 전보다는 더욱더 좋은 사람 더욱더 더 나은 사람 더욱더 아침을 술 맞고 내 안에 분노하고 해묻고 For life Do it away, do it away
울었던 웃었던
A little bit of blues guitar going.
소녀가 그리워 너 찬란했던 사랑했던 시절만 자꾸 기억나 계절은 날이 갈수록 속절없이 흘러 붉게 물들이고 파랗게 만들어 가슴을 앓고 언젠가 다시 올 그날 그때를 위하여 아름다운 우리의 봄 여름 가을 겨울
Taeyang looks so different with long hair.
I'm loving this.
I was not expect full like really cool ballad style. I wasn't expecting it.
I wished it was longer.
That was sorry, at the end there when you were talking, I think the song was so much louder so I couldn't hear everything you said. What was it you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying how Top basically, I was expecting something kind of weird and quirky from him because he normally in all of the music videos has a very like quirky different style to whatever he does, whether it be wearing a spacesuit or kind of Joker style outfit with the syringe thing and Bebe, but like I was expecting something cool from him, and the whole bunny mask thing was really dope. And when he like took it off, I was like, I got chills.
His whole verse part was cool because like he did his a little bit of his rap, but then he started going into like more of kind of a lower, because he has a low voice, that style of singing, which it was a nice shake up from how high G Dragon's tone is right before that happening. That's one of the things they mix so well tonally because of the different vocal range they have going on. And then Taeyang's vocals always Sammy. That dude's just so good. Like the tone is just so perfect for Taeyang. He looks super good with long hair. Like he looks like straight out of like he's like the main character, of an anime with that like look going on.
Married Life is treating him well. It's a glow up, and I absolutely love it. I also really loved like kind of with the vocals. I've always really enjoyed how G Dragon has kind of that really higher pitched, like more nasal quality, and Top has like the lower, kind of more raspy tone. How they play off each other is really cool. But then also having like Taeyang's like really like smooth, like heavenly vocals. Or I have no other words except heavenly for like his voice. And then Daesung coming in with like kind of that like mid-tone kind of like rasp like right after, like gave it like so much like soul to the song that I thought was really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad they're back because they always they feel something with like boy groups that other boy groups don't have, kind of a bit of that like darker style. I don't know if that's like the right way to describe it, but they don't have quite the like the super pretty like boy feel of certain boy groups or something. They fill a different void that I feel like isn't always filled when they're not there doing their music.
Well, it's interesting like how they're even really presented, because yes, they are a K-pop boy group, but the way that they present themselves and the type of music they make kind of presents them more as artists rather than idols, I think.
Yeah.
Like even when they're doing their solo stuff, they have always had a much more kind of adult artist kind of feel to them rather than different like boy groups. And not that, no disrespect to any other boy groups, because like as you know, I'm a huge fan of pretty much all boy groups. But there is a different kind of way that boy group idols like present themselves, whether it be like more young and like whether they'll do like the cutesy concept or the fun concept. It's a lot lighter and more tuned in towards the younger, generally female audience. Whereas Big Bang, they have their audience. Yes, you have your females, you have your dudes, you have everywhere in between, and a whole mix of ages, which is also why I guess I was hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone in the comments knows, but I think they reached #1 on Melon streaming yesterday. Is like up there with like BTS with how quickly they made it up there as soon as the song dropped.
I have to imagine so, because they were so massive before the break happened. Big Bang, when we first started our channel, BTS was obviously becoming the biggest boy group in the world at that. Just the biggest group in general in the world at that moment. And then but it was still felt like there was a lot of people who were like Big Bang or like the kings of K-pop kind of mindset before the whole military breaks and everything happening. But This particular song, the ballad style of it, wasn't like sad feeling to me. It had like more of a hopeful tone, I would say, to it. It didn't feel like it was trying to be tonally sad. It felt like it was kind of uplifting at some parts. And their voices work so good for ballad style, which is so interesting to me because it also works so good for that very upbeat, like kind of party style of Fantastic Baby and other stuff. And not all groups can kind of mesh too really well. There's usually like a niche that someone fills, but Big Bang feels like they can just be like, I'll do whatever I want and it will work or something. You know, it's interesting.
Like one of my favorite Big Bang songs of all time is If You. And granted, like Big Bang, I love their hype songs like Sober, Bang Bang Bang, obviously, like Fantastic Baby, like love all of them. But If You, which is more of, well, it is a ballad song, is one of the most beautiful songs. And when they, way back in the day when they released Love Song, that was more kind of like a rock synth kind of ballad, which again, I love. I respect Big Bang so much for being able to tackle a variety of genres and like song styles that a lot of artists struggle to kind of like bridge that gap, where Big Bang, they, it doesn't matter what like you put in front of them, like genre wise, they can tackle it.
Yeah. I I'm really hopeful that now that they are all back together, that we get a lot of the cool solo stuff again and things like that too, from Tang and G Dragon and Top, because they always had really cool solo songs as well. I'd be really interested for Tang to come back and everything too. It's been a long time since you get any of that content.
Well, from what I've heard, Top just ended his contract with YG. So, from how I was understanding the announcement, he might participate in Big Bang stuff in the future, but he's, doing
Kind of like a Mamamoo Win situation. It sounds like
yeah,
still part of the
like,
group, but not on the same like label.
and still like Taekyeon of 2PM, he left JYP and he was still promoting with 2PM when they had their comeback, which was really cool. And you have like idols like Ravi and Zico who have left their groups, granted, like left the companies rather. So holding out for a Vix and Blockbeat comeback at some point too. Hopefully Big Bang is kind of like the gateway to all these older groups kind of doing their comebacks.
Girls' Generation comeback. It's gonna happen. No, it's I'm now I need them to do like the party anthem. Like now that they're here, they're back, because like as much as you guys know, if you've seen a lot of what I watch on this channel, I'm such a fan of like super upbeat like party anthem songs in K-pop. Like I love the early Blackpink releases, like Boom Baya and everything like that. Those songs where it is like a club jam. It's weird because I have a metalhead brain that loves listening to prog 8-minute songs with weird time signatures and everything like that. But then I also am a real basic bitch sometimes when it comes to like just wanting to hear like a club jam. So I know Big Bang were like epically good at making those like club jam style songs where you went in and everyone got excited for it. So I feel like they have to do something in that vein at some point now that they're back.
I hope that they do, but I also understand why they went the route that they did with this song, because it's been so long since they have released any music, and like when I was listening to the song, like you were saying before, it was more ballady, but it wasn't necessarily like sad as much as it was hopeful. And I kind of listened to it feeling like it was like a closure type song, like, yes, it's been a long time, we're a lot older than we were the last time that you saw us since we were together, but we're still here, we're still making music. And I liked that with the more ballad aspect, they were able to do that. Where I feel if they came back with, a huge anthem, which would have been fantastic, and like, kind of staple Big Bang, it wouldn't have had the same emotional impact that this song had.
No, I agree. This was a really good way for them to have a comeback. And like I said, like we were just agreeing, it's hopeful feeling, at least to be like the tone of it. So it's almost like something like, yeah, we're back, and then like kind of being a little bit more cheerful toned, even though it's a ballad, because if it was like really really sad feeling or something, maybe that because I'm sure they could have made a sad song, because obviously a lot of stuff happened over time, but I mean it definitely had a feeling of like things are looking up in like kind of future. At least that's my interpretation. I could be totally wrong because I don't know the lyrics, but the video and the tone of the music itself felt like that to me.
Yeah, it seemed a lot more of a kind of closure song than it did like a kind of sad song. But I understand why people were crying, because there was a point where I was like, no, we're not gonna cry. This is
Yeah, I mean, a
fine.
song doesn't have to be sad to make someone feel emotional. I think people just feel, like I said, people could have cried if Big Bang came back with a song like Fantastic Baby just because they're back or whatever, it's like that feeling of excitement finally happening again.
Yeah, like it was like shortly after my birthday, my sophomore year of college, that Big Bang released like F It and Last Dance. So it's been forever since I've actually like had a proper comeback. So it was kind of like emotional for me, because I was thinking back on, the old days when Big Bang were like my like core group, which I mean, granted, I still absolutely love Big Bang, but it's kind of like different when they've been away for so long, where it's kind of like the old memories of like first getting into them are all coming back.
No, I totally get it. I feel like if Red Velvet had a really long hiatus, kind of like Big Bang has, and then coming, which they did a little bit with Wendy's situation at one point, but they were still prevalent with that song. Psycho and Irene and Solgi were doing things and stuff. But if it was just silence, for a long time, you'd feel that like finally it's back kind of a feeling, and because you had to go attached to other groups, because there literally was nothing happening for a solid 2 years or so. So it's crazy.
And when they started enlisting, before, like right around that time, Top had his own issues that he was dealing with, and I don't want to trigger anybody just because it is a sensitive topic. But he went through a very hard time, and then when G-Dragon did his release with Untitled, that was also a ballad. It was like, sad and gut-wrenching, and Taeyong's last release that he did, his mini album, was a lot more, soothing, I guess would be a good way, like synth, like ballady kind of stuff with Wake Me Up. Like this music they were releasing right before, they all enlisted was a lot more on the somber side. So it's like that was like the going away content they left us with, and then just silence for the rest of the time was kind of hard to deal with.
It did seem uncertain that they were going to come back, but I'm really glad they did. This song, I like the style. Yeah, it was a ballad that I can enjoy. I'm not always a big ballad fan because they tend to be kind of very sad, but like I said, this didn't feel like a sad one to me, so I did really enjoy it. And tonally, their voices are just so cool to listen to, the different ranges and everything. Do we know if this is just a single release, or they're gonna have like a full album?
I think from what my understanding was, this was just a digital single release. Okay. I didn't see anything as far as an album or any physical sales happening, because if there was, I would have made a big splurge, which is weird. Not necessarily weird per se, but I've been noticing a lot more groups and artists have been doing like digital single releases rather than
That's just all across music because financially it makes so much more sense. It's expensive to like make an album and it doesn't always have the same return of releasing a single that just becomes focused super popular and that sells and with that sells at the same price as some albums do, and it's making you it's more of a business thing in music right now, but I do still love albums personally, so I really hope this signifies that they're gonna do a full album release because that'd be really cool.
oh, absolutely. And I have no doubt that if they were to announce an album, they would be selling a crud ton. I think from what I read, they with this single alone, they did over 1 million digital copy sales in China or whatever it was. And I was
That's
like
crazy.
thinking if that turned into like physical albums, like how much money that would be. I mean, granted, YG is a huge company still, and they have, you know, Treasure and Icon and Winner, which I am waiting for both of them to have come back.
I imagine I feel so bad for Blinks if before Blackpink has another comeback, Big Bang releases another one in an album. All that time they've been waiting.
You know my opinion on how YG releases their music and how long they make us wait.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if Big Bang is thrown also into the YG dungeon after this release.
If they do, YG, this isn't a threat, but I will be very, very unhappy if you put them in the dungeon again. Please don't. Please. I'm begging.
Overall, though, I'm glad they're back. This was a great release. I think that's it. I think we said everything about the song. The video itself obviously was so pretty. I could go into the ship scene in the beginning with Taeyang. I think I fell in love with that man for a moment there, just in that beginning scene. But I already liked it before, but that was it's incredible visually. Everything, the long hair, I'm here for it. They all look great right now.
Oh, breathtaking. I also thought that it was just such a soothing video to watch, like stylistically, kind of the more pastel colors that they were using. I think I was noticing some biblical phrases in the background too that they had up, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I said it earlier during the music video, but it gave me Let's Not Fall in Love feels, which was one of their more not necessarily ballady songs, but not like one of their upbeat songs either, that also did a lot of the beautiful kind of pastel colors. So I thought it took me back to that. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a great video, great song. I'm super stoked. I can't wait there's gonna be an album release. I'm gonna will it into existence right now. It's like a month from now. They're like, okay, we had a single, now here's an album. It's gonna happen. All right, I said it first. You guys can all be like, okay, Honan was right when you see this right now. Okay, but this still, I'm glad they're back. Great song. Glad it feels hopeful and not sad. I'm not a big fan of sad songs, but it was dope. I'm Honan.
And I'm Kay.
Next time.